tiering the quarterback position for Dynasty fantasy football. Let me reorganize some of my stuffs here. Bam, bam. Okay. Think I got all this set up. We've got these nice ads at the bottom. That's beautiful. Let's see, can I get rid of these ads? No. Can't get rid of them. Oh no, they're gone. Okay. All right, here we go. So I had to add in a few guys. So I added in Darnold, Minshew, Penix, Jameson, and of course the S tier Joe Flacco. So let's start at the top. Basically, what we're going to have here, S tier is absolutely elite. Would consider taking at the 101. Doesn't mean I would, but at least would be in consideration. This tier, guys worthy of being first round super flex startup picks. This one, and we kind of get down here. We'll skip the middle sections for a second. Down here is basically you have them rostered because they're quarterbacks, but that's really the only reason. Like if this was one quarterback, probably wouldn't even have these guys rostered. So that's kind of the progression we're going through right now. So let's start. Got kind of an easy one. Aiden O'Connell. And I'll ask your guys' advice, but this one was pretty easy for me. Aiden O'Connell. He's only rostered because it's a super flex league. Otherwise, he would not even be in consideration. But we get one of the hardest ones to deal with right off the rip. We've got Mr. Anthony Richardson. So obviously, before the season, he's probably in this tier. At worst, this tier. He's either in A or B. Clearly not in either of those anymore. But I'll say this. I would still be willing to give up a second to get Anthony Richardson. Now, that might not get it done everywhere. But if I'm willing to give up a second, that means he's obviously not down here. So the question is, do I put him in C or D? That's kind of the question right now. I am going to, just because this is dynasty value, I am, whoops. Where'd he go? He disappeared. He's a ghost. Oh, now I moved two guys. Didn't mean to move Rodgers that quickly. For me, I'm going to put him in the C tier just because these are guys that I would be willing to probably give a second for. Ugh. Yeah, I'm going to leave him there for now. I wish I didn't have to do him this early because it would help kind of mix up my tiers a little bit. But we're going to put him there. Curtis Martin agrees. He thinks A-Rich is a C for now. When we got Aaron Rodgers here, Rodgers, he probably also goes in the C tier. I think he's a starter that can get the job done. No, he doesn't have the youth and that kind of value anymore, but he still gets the job done as a starter. So I'm going to put him in the C tier. Baker Mayfield. He's another interesting one. Would have started the season much lower. A couple years ago, he would have been down here. But now, I think he's got to go B. I don't think he's at the point where I would be willing to give up a first-round pick. Or sorry, I don't think he would be in the first round of a startup is what I mean. I would definitely give up a first for him, like a rookie first, and then some. So I think B feels like the right spot to put him. We got a lot of people agreeing. Old Sport, Ryan, and Anthony all saying B for Baker. Speaking of B's, how about Bo? Bo Nix. Bo, I think he goes C for me as well. I know other people are higher on him than I am. He's not a guy that gets the ball down the field very well. He does run and move around quite a bit. I think he's one of those guys that once NFL defenses get used to him, he's going to struggle. So I am not. I know. I was going to say other people I think might put him in B. He is not in B tier for me. He is C tier. Brock Purdy. I don't think I'm quite ready to take him in the first round of a startup. So I think he goes B here for me. So I will put Brock Purdy in the B tier for me. Powerfold asks, do you think Houston trades a wide receiver to replace Diggs? Just traded Winston for Jacoby Myers. He's one guy rumored to go there. Situation is now probably better for fantasy, but would love to see it. Yeah, obviously Jacoby Myers is playing well for the Raiders, so I don't necessarily want to see him moved, but I could see them going after somebody. It wouldn't surprise me at the least if they do. Brock is A for Ryan. Man, you would take him in the first round of a startup. I don't think I could do that. Purdy feels like a high B, low end A for me. I get you. I get what you're saying, Ross. I get what you're saying. And maybe I need to move. Man, I have a hard time separating these three guys. Because if I'm a contender, I'd rather Rodgers. If I want upside, I'd rather Richardson. But kind of the in-between guy is Bo Nix. All right, maybe we'll do this. Maybe we move Rodgers and Richardson to D tier. And we have Bo Nix alone in C tier right now. I think I can live with that. I can live with that because really I kind of almost had one too many tiers probably because I was trying to figure out how I differentiate C and D. So I can live with Bo Nix being there. I can live with that. Bryce Young falls into this E tier for me right now. He's not irrelevant, but I'm not convinced he's going to ever be a fantasy starter, like even in the super flex spot. So I think the E tier feels about right for me. Yeah, I think that's a good spot. Caleb's a tough one. Caleb's another one I feel like would be very similar to a Brock Purdy. I could see him eventually, even this year, becoming an A tier. But right now, we just haven't seen quite enough. So I think he's got to go B tier for me at the moment. I think he fits pretty nicely with Brock Purdy. I would take Caleb still over Brock, but it is very, very close between the two. In gold, we trust is Ayuk, Godwin, in a late 25 first and second and late 26 first. Too much to pay for Justin Jefferson. I'm a contender in second place, one game back without Nico and lost Ayuk and Godwin for the year. So 2 late first, Ayuk, Godwin, and a late second. It's a lot to pay. That's a lot to pay, but honestly, I probably would. If you're a contender, he's the kind of guy that can put you over the hump. So that's a lot to give up. But Godwin probably isn't in Tampa next year. We now have added Ricky Pearsall to this group in San Francisco. And late first, I mean, you're looking at a 33% hit rate for these guys. So, yeah, give me the Justin Jefferson side. It's a lot to pay, but I think it's worth it. CJ Stroud, I think he's probably the easiest one so far. Perfect A tier. Put the players in order within their tier. I get what you're saying, Mike, and I can try to some extent. But the hard part is then that's like it's not really tiers as much anymore. It's tiers plus rankings. So I can try my best, but I can't promise that it's 100% accurate with how I feel. But I will do my best. Brandon, what's good, buddy? Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us on the stream today. I'm enjoying doing these tier lists. I haven't done a lot of them. Like I said, we did them over the summer, and I think it was a good exercise. But it's good to get back into it and do it again. Dak Prescott, he's another one that feels like he fits pretty nicely into a tier. He's pretty clearly a B tier guy for me. If we can get him up there, I feel like B tier is going to be a pretty big one for me. Pretty big one for me. If I were to rank these guys right now, Jared says Mahomes in C tier. It's gonna hurt. Woo! That's bold. That is bold. I ranking these guys is tough. I'd probably say Brock first. Reacting kind of slow right now. There we go. All right. Probably Brock. Gonna switch. There we go. Brock first, then Caleb, then Dak, then Baker. They're all so close. That's really, really tough. And that makes sense. That's why they're all in the same tier. All right. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep it moving. All right, we've got a few questions here in trades. Would you pursue either a Shane? Who's Shane? Would you pursue either a down tier cross position swap as a JT owner? Currently 6-2, fourth in the standings, 8 in points, 4. 2 inbox offers. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was like, I don't know who Shane is. Send Jonathan Taylor plus Chubb. Get DJ Moore, Ramondre, and Tillman. Send Jonathan Taylor and Chubb. Get Ramondre, B. Robert Swift, and Tillman. I think this, for me, this is probably undervaluing Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, he missed a couple games, but he's averaging like 18, 19 points a game this year. So I think for me, that is undervaluing Jonathan Taylor. Brandon, 12 team, half PPR, 3-5 record, got 2 trade questions. I need to remember to always put these up. I have 2 trade questions. Bucky for a 26th second plus and Shaheed for Hunt. I would rather Bucky than the 26th second. And if I'm a contender, I'm willing to give Shaheed because he's not helping me this year for Hunt. Can I win with these quarterbacks, or should I push for a true QB1? Herbert, T-Law, Darnold, Russ. Could you win? Sure. I won a league last year with Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr. So it's definitely possible. But it all depends on who else is on your roster. I had some elite players like Christian McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like you need other elite players in order to get it done. But is it possible? Sure. Jake is definitely taking Caleb over Brock. Let's see. Jared, I have Mahomes and Baker in a 1 QB league. Have thought moving off one or both at one point or another. Who should be moved? Whew. Right now, I'd probably move Baker. I think people are going to be just as high, if not higher, on Baker. And long term, I still want Mahomes over Baker. So, assuming that's the case, I'll probably move Baker. Curious where you're going to rank Penix. Yeah, we're going to talk about him in a second. I am contending received Cook and Penix for 26 first, mid to late, and second, probably early, and third, late, at an extra 26 first. Yeah, Cook assuming you're talking about James Cook, that's an easy deal. Easy deal. Love it. We need a 2025 tier list on the running backs in a month or two. Caleb Johnson, kid out of Iowa, has been insane. Prime Le'Veon Bell and Brees Hall potential. He has been very, very good. I'm excited to talk about him, and we will definitely be doing some of this kind of stuff come draft season. You know your boy loves draft season. That was my guy Curtis Martin. Who do you like better long term at wide receiver, Devonta Smith or Jaden Reed? I'm probably going to go Reed just because there's a real chance for him to be the one. I don't think Devonta Smith is going to be overtaking AJ Brown in the realistic future. What's up, Brizzleton? Still morning for you, so you must not be East Coast. Could be anywhere else in the U.S., but not East Coast. We have Peter. I have CD Jamar, Brees, Bijan, McBride, Kelsey, and Henry to round out the rest of that roster. So, yeah, that sounds like a championship level roster. Hey, G, I have Stroud, Murray, Caleb, and Carr in a 12-team Superflex. Nobody seems to want to pay up for QB. Do you just hold them or take the perceived loss in a trade? Probably right now, I'm probably holding. It depends on how bad I lose the deal. Like, I'm not giving up for pennies on the dollar, but if I'm only getting 90 cents for the thing that I think is worth $1, I'm not going to bulk at that too much if it helps me as a contender put the pieces in place that I need. You really like Stroud as a fantasy quarterback. I have him, and he's been really underwhelming. I get that, and he is part of this is age related. You're going to have him forever. But part of it's also, for the most part, consistency. I know I had that one really bad week, but he's a really consistent week in and week out. It's 10 and it's like 25 degrees. So you're in mountain time. So you maybe in Colorado up high. Stroud is underwhelming for the price you paid. I do agree with that. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones fits very neatly, in my opinion, with the likes of Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers. So kind of the old guys or the guys that we're not sure where the heck their career is going. I think he fits pretty nicely there. Colorado, see, look at that. I'm on it. Let's see. What's the lotto numbers now? Let me check my crystal balls and let you know. All right. Derek Carr. Oof. Derek Carr. What do I do with you? I'm actually going to put him in the Bryce Young tier. He still has value, but not enough that anybody's going to be willing to get him. And yeah, I think he belongs in the same tier as Bryce Young. And I'm going to put Deshaun Watson in that same tier as well. Close to being in this tier, honestly. But for right now, we'll put Deshaun Watson in that E tier. Drake May, though. Drake May, and that's actually Eric's question here is about Drake May. Do you think Drake has done the best so far with what he has around him? I have been really, really encouraged with what I've seen out of Drake May. So much so that I'm actually willing to put Drake May into this tier. I know the temptation would be to go here. I think he deserves to be here. Geno Smith, I think he's a good one to have in here with Bo Nix. I am lower on Bo Nix than others, but I still think I would have him over Geno for the time being. Yeah. So I'm going to put him there. In Gold We Trust, with the liking of Reed over Devonta, would you trade Devonta Stafford to a contender for Reed and AR-15? If I'm in rebuild, I would. I would do that in a rebuild. Aloha Panda. He says, already have Chase, JJ, Kyron, Bijan, and CD in my line. Pick 2 for the flex. Henry, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Brees, and Puka. Lions game looks like it's going to be a rainy one. Bro, that's a flex right there. To be able to say, like, I don't know if I can start Henry, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, Neighbors, Brees, or Puka. Like, what? This might be one of the most insane teams I've ever heard. Off the top of my head, you're right. It does look like it's going to be rainy, but it could be decently high scoring between them and the Packers. I'm trying to remember all the other matchups off the top of my head. Let's see. Taylor, do they have the Giants this week? I know Brees tonight goes tonight against Houston. I would be leaning sitting out Brees. I'd probably be going Henry and Neighbors would probably be the 2 that I would lean towards. Yeah, Neighbors versus Washington. Yeah. I would say Neighbors and Henry would be the 2 that I would lean towards. All right. Yeah. Let's Brees betting props. Really? That's surprising. Houston's no joke, and this offense seems to be choking, especially in prime time. That one scares me a little bit. All right. Jalen Hurts. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put him in the S tier. I am. It feels wrong, but would I consider him at 101? I would. Would I take him at 101? I don't think so. But I would at least consider, like, the thought would cross my mind. So I would put him in the S tier. Jabu says Carr is startable at least. More value on your roster than what you'd get him in a trade. And I think that's the thing. I totally agree with that. He's more valuable to the owner than to somebody trying to acquire him, because you're not going to get what he's actually worth ever. And I think that's why he falls into that tier for me. And his career is just heading in the wrong direction. I don't have any real hope for a career resurrection, or at least for these 2 guys, there's still like some hope. Jared Goff. Goff's another one that's tough because I could see a world where it's C, but man, he's just been so good. I think he deserves to be. Whoa. What are we doing here? We're moving too many guys. Where's Jared Goff? Jared Goff, get out of there. Get out of there, Jared Goff. I think I would put him between Baker and Drake May. Yeah, I think I would put him between Baker and Drake May. Yeah, that's right. I feel good about it. I had to think about it. Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is also going to go into the S tier for me. Yep. Moving on up. I don't think I would take him 101, but would I consider it? Better believe it. Better believe I would. Why is JJ McCarthy? What is JJ, the ghost of McCarthy, doing up here? I promise you, he's not going in S tier. Well, I was gonna build up the suspense a little bit, but he's gonna go in C tier for me. A lot of unknown, but the upside is clearly there. Clearly there for him. Peter, you didn't miss much, man. Just the greatest show ever. That's all. It's the greatest show ever. Yeah, we are doing the tier list today, Dynasty quarterback edition, and figuring out where we would rank all these guys, which is pretty fun. It's pretty fun, not gonna lie. And of course, answering questions. In a rebuilding, send Chubb and Sutton for Ayuk, or is Ayuk too sketchy? Nah, I'd do that in a rebuild. Trevor, did we get to this one? I don't know if we did. I have Kyler and want to tear up, but no one seems to value him in Dynasty rankings. Should I hang on to him and hope he can finally see over the line and find Marvin Harrison Jr.? Who should I target? He is a tough one because he probably deserves to be in the A tier, but value-wise, he's definitely in the B tier. And that's what's going to make it really tough for him. So I would probably just hold on to him because I don't think you're going to be able to upgrade much for what you're actually going to be able to get for him. My 8 keepers are Stroud, Bo, Jacobs, B-Rob, Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Zay, and Pitts in a 14-man league. Thoughts? What could Stroud get you in a trade right now? In a dynasty trade, you're going to get 2 firsts, 1 early, 1 late, and then probably an additional second would be my guess. So 2 firsts, 1 early, 1 late, and then an additional second is probably what you're getting. Joey Biscuits, you're going right here, my man. I would actually take him over Stroud. I get it that Stroud's younger, but I would take Burrow over Stroud. I think he's got just a little bit more. We've seen him perform a little bit higher, so he's going to go there. This is probably going to be my hottest take. I'm also putting Jordan Love in the S tier. Every game that kid plays has been like magic. He is putting up unreal numbers every time he steps on the field. Every single time he steps on the field. So it's bold, but I think it's beautiful. Ryan says W take. That's what I'm talking about, Ryan. Ryan gets it. Ryan gets it. That's what I'm talking about. Jake says, what's the most you would pay on top of JJ McCarthy to acquire Dak? A second? Yeah, it seems about right. I might even be willing to give 2 seconds if I'm a contender that wants to win this year. Gold. Hey, the people love it. The people love it. That's what I like to hear. I'm about it. This one is easy. He's the top guy. If there's anybody in the S tier, it's obviously Josh Allen. Dynasty Nerds is yeah. Good advertisement right here. Here, we'll close that out. Yeah, we're also by Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen also advertises with us. We get paid money in dilly bars. Let's see. So Justin Herbert, there was a time where he was in this tier, a long time in this tier. But now, unfortunately, my friends, I think Justin Herbert is in the B tier. I would still take him over Baker, but it's close. I'd still take him over Baker, but it's close. So Justin Herbert, he's going to go in the B tier. B tier is a big one. It's a big tier. Let's see. Goal on. What would you try to sell Russell Wilson for in a 12-team superflex? And I'm trying to sell to QB needy teams. I want a first. If I have a starting quarterback that's putting up any solid numbers, I want a first. Now, if I have to give my second back with Russell Wilson to do it, I'm willing to do it. But I would want to try to get a first. Joanna Kyler needs to be in the B tier at least. Totally agree. He'll at least be in the B tier. I do promise that. Let's see. We've got Kirky K. Little Captain Kirk here. He's going to go in C tier for me. I'm going to put him at the top of the C tier. Yes, I get it that he's one of the older guys, but I still think he's got at least 3 or 4 good years left in him. And in this offense, it's going to be pretty nice. So I think he should be in the C tier. I think it's a solid place to put him. Kyler is definitely in B tier for me. This might be bold-ish. I'm going to have him at the top of the B tier. I think he's the first guy in this tier for me. We were talking about him just a little bit ago, and I think he's a very undervalued asset in fantasy football. I get it. The injuries are a little bit scary, but when he's on the field, he produces. He puts up numbers both through the air and on the ground. So I think he kind of has to go in that B tier. Lamar Jackson, I think he's a pretty easy A tier for me. I considered putting him in the S tier. I'm going to put him at the top of the A tier, but he's a little bit older, and he is one that has also struggled with some injuries, some inconsistent play at times year over year. So I think, and I do worry eventually, is he a good enough pocket passer? He's definitely an improved pocket passer. I'll 100% give him that. But in 2 or 3 years, will he still put up the rushing numbers to be able to be elite? So that's why dynasty-wise, obviously redraft-wise, he's S tier. But dynasty-wise, I think he's got to go in the A tier for me. At the top of it, but in the A tier for me. Matthew Stafford. Ooh, what do you guys think about Stafford? Should he be in C tier or D tier? C tier or D tier? He's kind of right on the cusp for me. I'm leaning toward being the top of the D tier. It's kind of what I'm leaning toward here. D, okay. I think people are feeling me on that. I think that's the right spot for him. I think the top of the D tier is where he should be. He's an older guy. I don't know how many years he has left, and I'm okay if he was putting up elite numbers as an older guy, but he's just putting up good numbers. So I think D tier feels about right. Patty Ice. Patty Ice. Where would y'all put him? Where would y'all put him? Look, I'm not moving him out of A tier. I'm not. You can yell, you can scream, you can tell me how he's not been that good this year. And I get it. He's not. He's not been that good this year. But there's no way I'm taking Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams. I'm not taking any of those guys above him. So I get it. Honestly, I kind of even want to move him up higher in the A tier. But I'll leave him there for now. But I can't move him down much further. He's too good. He's too good. Now we added DeAndre Hopkins to this mix. Rashee Rice will be back next year. He's just too good. He's got to be an A tier for me. Can't move him out. Russ Bus. This one feels like a pretty clear D tier for me. I'm gonna put him at the top of the D tier. Well, if this site wants to cooperate. There we go. It did. Okay. He's gonna go in D tier for me. If he keeps performing, I think he can earn his way into the C tier. But right now, he's got to be D tier for me. All right, people aren't going to like this. But Trevor Lawrence is going in C tier. Theo saying May going to be S tier soon. Ooh, I like that. I'm putting Trevor Lawrence in C tier. What has he done? He's been consistently meh. He has some good games here and there, but he has some really bad games too. I know value-wise, most people would say he should probably be in B tier with Goff and with Baker, but what has he done to deserve it? All right, I thought I was going to have to fight a little bit more on this, but Jake's cool with it. Trevor's cool with it. They're not going to argue with me. They say, you know what? I'm fine. Anthony, is now the time to buy in on Tyrone Tracy for rebuilding teams. Now is a tough time to buy. The best time to buy was obviously in the offseason. You can get them almost for free. Then, after kind of that first game, now is a little tough to buy. Depends what the cost is. If I'm still giving seconds, then sure. I'd be willing to buy. If I'm having to give more than that, though, I don't think so. Matt saying, Garrett, tell Matt he needs to share his favorite penny cup coffee roasts on the next podcast. That's a good idea. I'll have to let him know. In fact, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this right now, so that way. Perfect. All right, I'll take a screenshot and let Matt know. All right. Tua. Man, is he at the top of tier C or the bottom of tier B? I think he's B. Reason being, anytime anyone offered me any of these guys for Tua, I would say no. Joanna, this is the first QB Dynasty tier list I completely agree with. I'm a man of the people. I do what I can. I think Tua's got to go in B because it would be consideration if somebody said, would you do Baker? Would you do Drake May? Like those would be close trades for me. But I don't think any of these would be. I think I would take Tua every time. So I'm gonna get him there. Tua for Caleb. There's no chance Caleb's worth a tier. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. I'm not sure 100% sure. MT2. Wouldn't trade Caleb for Mahomes straight up, which I agree. So you're saying Caleb needs to be in A tier. I don't think he's shown enough yet for me to be able to put him on there. That's too much projection for me right now to be able to put him up into A tier. I get it. I get what you're saying, but it's a little too much projection for me right now to be able to put him up there. Will Levis, Mr. Levi's himself. He goes here. He goes in the E tier. Bucky says, "Curious to see where Fields lands." Yeah, Fields isn't on this. Fields is on. Let's rectify that quickly. Let me add him. All right, finding him. Save image. Oh, it's a WebP picture. Dang it. Save image. I know this is great. This is great and exciting stuff. Watching me type into my browser here. Gosh darn it. Can I just get a normal Justin Fields picture? I don't need anything special. Just that's Joe Hayden. How are we not able to get just a normal everyday save images? All these are WebP pictures. JPEG, I'll take it. Even though we'll get the white background, that'll be all right. All right, so let's add him in here. All right, there he is. He's going to stick out like a sore thumb, but who cares? All right, let's keep it going then. Sam freaking Darnold. Sam freaking Darnold. He's really tough for me to rank. I think he goes like somewhere in here. I think he's in D tier. I think he's in D tier. D tier. B. Ryan wants to put him in B. Yes, he absolutely. That's the biggest thing is just what kind of deal he gets done. He would instantly move up to C tier just signing a contract to be the starter, like legitimate starter money. Let's see. Everybody's saying C tier. All right, I'm at least going to move him to the top of D tier. I don't know that I can put him in C tier without a contract, but I'll put him to the top of D tier. He's a white Geno Smith. You know what? That's fair. And the second he gets that kind of contract, I'm good with it. I think for sure he gets a contract this offseason. I hope so. I hope he does. But there's still so much that could happen between then and now. I mean, we still have 9 weeks of regular season football. They're on a 2-game skid. We'll have to see. I think he will too. But for now, I don't know that I would trade any of those assets in C for him. I think I'd rather have all those assets in C. Somebody was talking about Jaden Daniels. Personally thinking Jaden Daniels has too high of an injury risk. If I'd had him, I'd sell him. High thoughts. Takes huge shots weekly. I have no problem trading him for like a Jordan Love or a Jalen Hurts if anybody's willing to do that. Minshew goes here. I think Jameis goes here. I think Flacco probably goes here. Poor Aiden O'Connell. He's all by himself. Penix and Fields, I think, are the last two really interesting ones. I'm going to put Penix in C tier. I like Penix quite a bit. Getting that first round draft capital, 8th pick overall, he's going to have an opportunity at some point. Will it be with Atlanta? I don't even know for sure. I think so. But he's a really, really talented quarterback. I like him quite a bit. And then I think Justin Fields got to go right next to Anthony Richardson, right? Same kind of concept. Good athlete. Hasn't been able to get it done yet. But there's crazy, crazy high ceiling. Crazy, crazy high ceiling. So with that, there's the list, ladies and gentlemen. There's the list. Some might say it's perfect. Most won't.